I'm sharing my best bets in college basketball for today, Tuesday, February 18th. It's Myguyknowsaguy here on my sports betting predictions channel. Let's continue. I was away from my channel for a few days as I dealt with a few weather-related incidents last week. We got hit with 2 big snowstorms over the span of 72 hours, and it was pretty crazy, but I'm here to share 4 picks with you for today. Hit the like button for me, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below. Let's get to my plays for today. My first pick comes in the matchup between Texas A&M and Mississippi State. This is a ranked-on-ranked matchup in the SEC, the best conference in college basketball this season. Texas A&M are currently ranked 7th, and Mississippi State are ranked 21st in the nation. At first glance, I know a lot of people will probably jump on Texas A&M here as short underdogs on the road. Texas A&M are currently on a 5-game winning streak in the best conference, and they're the best offensive rebounding team in the country. But I think it's pretty telling that Mississippi State are favored in this game given the recent track record of Texas A&M. Over the last few years, this has been a tough place for Texas A&M to perform well in. The offense of this Mississippi State Bulldogs team has improved dramatically compared to last season. And while Texas A&M are beasts on the offensive boards, Mississippi State are still effective on the offensive glass themselves. They generate a lot of second chance points. Mississippi State currently has 6 quad 1 level wins this season, which is pretty impressive to me because Mississippi State also have the 11th best strength of schedule, which is pretty impressive to me because Mississippi State is also number 11 in strength of schedule this season. Also, their sophomore guard, Josh Hubbard, presents a difficult matchup for Texas A&M in my opinion, and there are only 2 more chances left on Mississippi State's schedule to get another big-time win for their March Madness resume. They know that a win tonight against Texas A&M could be the difference between a high seed in March Madness and potentially being a bubble team heading down the stretch. This Texas A&M team is not to be taken lightly, but my pick in this game is Mississippi State minus 2.5 at minus 110 odds to win 1 unit. My next pick comes in a huge Big Ten matchup between Purdue and Michigan State tonight. This is another ranked-on-ranked matchup. Purdue are currently ranked 13th, while Michigan State are right behind them, ranked 14th in the nation. Both of these teams have been amazing this year in the Big Ten Conference, but as I look a bit closer at Michigan State, I'm surprised by how soft their schedule has been this season. Outside of Kansas, they didn't play any scheduled game against anyone in the top 25. They only played North Carolina earlier in the season because they happened to get to the 3rd round of the Maui Invitational. Michigan State have only played 3 teams that were ranked when they played this season: Kansas, North Carolina, and Illinois. Purdue, on the other hand, have played 9 ranked opponents this season, and I think they're going to be ready for the test they're going to face against MSU tonight. When I look at the roster construction on Michigan State, this appears to be a classic Tom Izzo squad. They hustle as a unit. They're a great offensive rebounding team, and they have depth. But when you look closer at Michigan State, you see that they are a terrible 3-point shooting team. I think Michigan State's inability to stretch the floor on the offensive side of things actually plays into Purdue's hands here. Michigan State's win against Illinois was impressive over the weekend, but I can't lay 3.5 points against Purdue with a team that lost against Indiana on their home court earlier this month. Another thing that I've noticed about Michigan State this season is that while they do have a ton of depth on their roster, they lack that true offensive star that can take over at the end of a tight game, in my opinion. I think Purdue have that player in Braden Smith. I know that it will be tough to get this win on the road tonight, but my pick in this game is Purdue plus 3.5 at minus 110 odds to win 1 unit. My next pick comes in another huge Big Ten matchup between Illinois and Wisconsin. Wisconsin are at home in this one. Wisconsin are definitely surging in the Big Ten recently as they've covered 7 of their last 8 games against the spread. Their graduate guard, John Tonje, is averaging 24 points per game over his last 7 games while shooting a ridiculous 48% from the 3-point line. But this Illinois team matches up well against Wisconsin, in my opinion, particularly with Kasparas Jakushonis. Wisconsin have had difficulty containing players with his level of playmaking ability. This Illinois team is also really tough. They're currently ranked 8th in the nation in offensive rebounding. I'm rolling with Illinois to possibly pull off a small upset tonight. I'm taking Illinois plus 4 at minus 110 odds to win 1 unit. My next pick comes in the matchup between the Kansas Jayhawks and BYU. This is a pretty important Big 12 matchup tonight. Kansas are coming off of a shocking loss on the road against Utah, while BYU just beat Kansas State by 15 points on their home court. We have a contrast in styles in this game tonight. BYU likes to play at a faster pace. They're also an elite team when shooting from three this season. BYU has the highest three-point shooting percentage in the Big 12 this season. When you look at this Kansas team, they've been pretty inconsistent recently, but they're still a great rebounding team, a great defensive team as well. I think this Kansas team has the personnel on the perimeter defensively to neutralize what BYU does best, and that's let it fly from three. I think the Kansas perimeter defense will shine tonight. Kansas star guard Zeke Mayo also presents a matchup nightmare for BYU, in my opinion. I'm expecting a big game from Mayo and Hunter Dickinson. We could see a Kansas bounce back when shooting from three tonight as well. BYU have a very poor three-point defense. They're currently ranked 244 in the nation in three-point defense. BYU are also a terrible free throw shooting team. They're only 69% from the free throw line. That's kept a lot of their opponents in games that they shouldn't have been in. Another big factor in this game, in my opinion, is an unconventional travel-related decision made by Kansas head coach Bill Self. After their loss against Utah over the weekend, Kansas decided to stay in the state of Utah to prepare for tonight's game against BYU, as opposed to traveling back to Kansas and then back to BYU. I think this could really help Kansas in tonight's game in terms of their energy. I do think it's likely that BYU will punch first in this game, but I'm expecting Kansas to come out with a high level of energy in the second half. My pick in this game is Kansas plus 3.5 at minus 110 odds to win 1 unit. Subscribe to my channel now. Hit the like button for me and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my upcoming sports predictions videos. It's Myguyknowsaguy here on my sports betting predictions channel. Best of luck with all of your plays today. I'll see you next time.